USC and Colorado, another
Ooh.
Pac-12, a lot of Pac-12 talk, as always on our shows each week. I think the scoreboard operator in Boulder is going to be pretty busy here because both USC and Colorado, two of the nation's best offenses. But to go back to last week, we'll start with USC. I think USC was bored. I mean, you could tell they were 30-plus point favorite over Arizona State. Whenever they needed to, they turned it on, and they were bored for other parts of the game. But they are going to have to play better defensively. Some of the missed tackle stuff showed up again last week against Arizona State. So it's something we'll see on Saturday. Colorado, I think the flaws of this team showed up. I think it caught up to them. The offensive line, 7 sacks allowed against Oregon. This is the best defense that they've played. It showed up. They're not able to run the ball. And this USC defense, I know it's not one of the nation's elite, but they do have enough difference makers up front. Bear Alexander's having a nice season. You look at some of the other players, defensive line, linebacker. The havoc causers are there to give Shedeur Sanders a tough afternoon against this front seven. So I think, obviously, can Colorado slow down Caleb Williams? It's going to be a tall task. I think their only hope is to win this game in a high-scoring affair.
Yeah, if the scoreboard operator is awake at that time of the day, wake and bake there in Boulder, Colorado. Get up and start working, start cooking, because you're going to need to work hard. I agree. Here's the thing, Colorado, we saw all the things that I think, and it's not that people are rooting for this, but you saw Oregon use, and I'm not talking about on the field. Oregon used all of the Colorado stuff against it. They had the social media team out there trolling. They had Dan Lanning recording all this stuff at halftime and in pregame, and like it was different for Oregon. It meant more to Oregon because of the Sanders, and frankly, Lincoln Riley. These are two of the most sensitive coaches in college football right now, Deion Sanders and Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley banning reporters from his facility for writing a nice piece about his player. Like, what are you doing? I don't think the game is competitive. I find the start time fascinating. Was it like 10 a.m. local time? That's a crazy time to start a football game for a bunch of college kids. So I don't, especially West Coast, I don't know how, like the big thing on the field that stood out to me, the tackling for Colorado is some of the worst tackling I've ever seen in a major college football game. And I don't know how you go into a game against Caleb Williams you can't protect your quarterback and you can't tackle.
Hot take here.
Bad combination.
USC's had some issues with tackling too.
Yeah, that's true.
I was going to just a kind of a quick observation. Like, what the Oregon Colorado game doesn't need to be like a massive narrative. It can mean two things. Colorado's clearly better. Deion Sanders is doing a good job. They are clearly better. It also shows they have a long way to go to catch teams like Oregon, USC, and Washington.
I think it taught me more that Oregon's defense could be as good as some of the other Pac-12 powers.
Agree.
I think I learned more about Oregon's defense than anything else in that game. I think they were kind of pissed they gave up that score actually at the end. I think they wanted the goose egg for social media purposes. But this is the problem. Like, when you're Coach Prime, you're going to get everybody's biggest and best shot. And USC's biggest and best shot is pretty nasty. So USC big for me.